Yo, what's up with your boys and girls? Hey, it's Kosty here on the Pick Dawgz morning show, March 27th, Friday, Sweet 16 action, NBA, hockey, baseball. What's up, Jeremy?
What's up, man? Baseball's back. Feels good. Were you down at the yard yesterday?
I was not. I don't really do the whole opening day. Nah.
It was a total shit show over there. Last year when we did our radio show from Pickles, and for people that don't know, Camden Yards, the place you go when you come here before the game is usually Pickles. Some people have other spots, but it's always packed. And if you're an outsider or out-of-towner coming in, that's where you want to go. Last year at 6:30 in the morning doing my radio show live from Pickles, we had some guy throwing up. And I'm like, are you finishing now or are you just starting? Because either way, it's pretty incredible that you're throwing up at 6:30 a.m. and your day's already over. And this year there was just like so many people down there, man. And then I always say this about opening day. My favorite thing is you get to see people you haven't seen in a long time. You know, as you get older, lives, you grow apart from people. Sure. And then the worst part of it is you get to see people you haven't seen in a long time. You just don't get to pick which one you get to see. So it was a good time yesterday. I'm glad the O's won. I had them as a play. But I love baseball. I mean, I like going down and watching games and want to hit a few other stadiums at some point too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't usually do opening day. Baseball has just never been a thing for me, and I also don't drink anymore, so I guess that takes a lot away from that as well. What you just said reminded me of Preakness. You go to Preakness, you're in the infield, you see a bunch of people you haven't seen in a while, good or bad, and that's throwing up at 6:30 in the morning. That was me, not 6:30, 9:30 in the morning, waiting to get into Preakness, in the line, chugging an entire 2-liter of Red Bull and vodka with a buddy of mine. Ooh. And then trying to figure out my life at 9:30 in the morning.
So I went to Preakness when Post Malone played the infield, and it had rained the night before, and it was the muddiest day ever. So much so that I saw somebody try to take a shortcut. You know, like instead of walking the path and going up 5 more feet, they just tried to cut across. This person's foot went in the ground. They lost their shoe and their sock, like immediately. People were covered in mud and mud wrestling. People were throwing mud. You had some disgusting ass people that, yes, you wouldn't be getting in my car if you showed up like that. You'd have to find your own ride home. But they were just hammered, man. And they've cleaned some of that up. Were you at Preakness when they used to do the porta potty run?
Yes.
So for people who don't know, the Preakness Stakes, the second leg after the Kentucky Derby, they used to have people run on top of 15 porta potties. And then everybody would throw stuff at them trying to knock them off, like cans, bottles. I saw somebody throw a full 2-liter at him, and I thought they killed the guy, you know? So I said, sounds gay. Yeah, I'm in.
Well, the best part about that was it's just so to preface what Preakness is compared to any other race, the infield is 100,000 people drinking BYOB. So they're not buying beer. They're bringing in cases and cases. My friends used to set up a baby pool, and we would just throw hundreds of beers in there. And it couldn't have been any more of a fun time as a 17-year-old. And then people decided, all right, well, at first, for the first 5 years, everybody was pretty, there was fights and stuff like that. But, the girls would be on the shoulders showing their tits. And I remember everybody at the time was junior year, somebody took pictures on Polaroids of the girls. And then we went back to school on Monday, and we had a whole slate of our entire class figuring out, okay, that's what those look like. That was, that's fun. And then I think it progressed to the porta potty races, because it wasn't happening when I was younger. It just in the later years, people were like, oh, this is a good idea. Let's run across porta potties while 300 beer cans are thrown at you.
Chucked at your head, yeah.
So what did they do the next year? They staggered the porta potties.
Just makes it difficult to get across, and you just got to do the little hop.
Those were, oh my God, I just remember those were the best times. It happened to always fall on my mom's birthday weekend, and I had all the intentions of going to mom's birthday, and being blacked out by noon, it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to get yourself together.
Oh, yeah. One of my favorite stories. So working at the radio station, they would ask me to come down and MC the bikini contest all the time. And I know that sounds awesome, right? And it's fine, but they weren't paying me for it. All I would get was 2 tickets to Preakness the year that I said I wasn't going to do it, they started paying somebody $400 to host it. I was like, you sons of bitches. But one of my favorite times going down there, or it was going to be, I think the Zach Brown band was going to play the infield, but I had to have all of my wisdom teeth cut out on Friday, so I couldn't MC the game, the bikini contest on Saturday. So yeah, when did we play football on Saturdays? So I got up about 18 hours after having all 4 of my wisdom teeth cut out with gauze in my mouth and played a doubleheader, spitting up blood on the football field like an idiot. And it's funny because like going back to some of the bikini contests and things they did, like Florida Georgia line was there one year, and the guy comes out in a thong. He's like, "Can I enter the bikini contest?" And you start to hear stuff like stories about him, like you as a artist or rock band, musician, whatever, you get to make requests. And one of the things they wanted is they wanted a ton of moonshine in their dressing room, and that's what they got. So they were hammered, man.
Man, those were the days. How did it turn out for you yesterday in the Sweet 16?
I mean, I split. I did hit my favorite plays. I missed on the 2 unders that I had. I had the under in the Houston game. I'm sorry, under in the Purdue game, and I had the under in the Iowa game. And when you get a first half like that, you're just not going to recover. So I knew those were losses, but my 2 big plays were Illinois and Arizona. I went 2-1 in baseball, but I've had a really good week. I mean, I'm up 1,200. It's been, I had a questionable Thursday. It wasn't good, the start of March Madness. And it obviously pisses you off because it's my first time doing March Madness here. And then I come back Saturday or Friday and just absolutely annihilated the board. So, and then Saturday was really good. Sunday was really good. And I've been killing the NIT. So that's helped out a lot.
Well, your biggest sport is just starting. I mean, you're the Pick Dawgz weatherman for baseball.
Yeah. And I get screwed over on the first day because Wrigley Field on Wednesday night, they were saying the wind was blowing out at like 13 miles an hour. And Wrigley's the place that's most affected by wind. So if it's blowing out 10 miles an hour there, it's like 20 miles an hour at another stadium. Like, it's right. That strong. And then when I woke up in the morning, I checked my weather algorithm and I'm like, holy hell, the wind's blowing in now. And that game got crazy. They said the home run that Ian Happ hit that left the stadium should have went even further because he hit it into the wind. That's how hard he hit the damn thing that it left the stadium. So, I mean, I look at the situation with games like that sometimes you can't trust the weather, if it switches up. I don't have too many days, but there are, I think tomorrow is really interesting because I already recorded my pod going over some of this stuff. There's a lot of wind blowing in tomorrow and cold weather. So if you see the 45 degrees and the wind blowing in at 12 miles an hour, 13 miles an hour, it's going to be a huge bump to the pitchers.
Now, so you're right. For me personally and my team, we don't start betting baseball. I think the first day is going to be next Friday or next Saturday. Is you right out of the gate, you feel like you're confident enough with the weather and watching, spring training, you could give out selections?
Yeah. So I was even I was talking about what Eric does, because I think the first month of the season is it's a great time to attack dogs if you're attacking the right ones. But pitchers typically aren't going to go 5 innings or 6 innings. You're going to see them working up to it. Now, yesterday was a bit of an anomaly because we saw a couple of guys go into the 7th inning because the pitch counts were low and teams were just hacking. So I do think there's value, and you get your starting pitchers, you get the great matchups early. I obviously do a ton of research in the offseason with players that are getting called up and kind of breaking down. I do a lot of player props. So, yeah, I mean, I'm diving right in. I couldn't wait for baseball. Opening day is probably my favorite day to bet.
Yeah, the boys were on yesterday. It was called the Nerfy Sweat Session, and they had it on the Nerfy for the Orioles game, and they went live, Ruffalo and Brad, and it was entertaining. Like, again, for me, we talked about it. I had Brad on my show yesterday. I don't know if there's any analytics that you could really worry about Nerfies and Yerfies, because a lot of them obviously are juiced one way or the other. But it was entertaining. I mean, they had a lot of guys watching it, and then they sweated it out with no runs. I don't think there was any runs in the Orioles to the 5th or the 6th.
Yeah, it was right around there. Yeah. So yeah. I think it was the 6th inning, but you also had, I had the Nerfy and the Giants Yankees game on opening night, and I was like, all right. And then you get to the 2nd inning, I also had the under, and then they dropped the 5 spot. It ended up pushing, but yeah, I mean, look, I think for people that trust math and trust, if you're using algorithms and stuff, you want to get data before you start making decisions. I've always had a process that I use, and you talk about the weather. I always do my handicapping and then check the weather and see if my stuff matches up. And when it does, that's when it becomes a top play for me.
Yeah, it's exciting stuff. Sweet 16, second session here. Then we have the Elite Eight the next couple days. And then before we know it, it's basketball's over as a whole. I know we have the NBA, which is disgusting nowadays.
I hate it.
It's so bad this year. It's so inconsistent. So many tankathon teams. And I mean, look, there's top 5, top 6 players coming out of the draft this year. All freshmen are phenomenal. I mean, they could be franchise movers. So I could see why the teams are doing it, but there's got to be some policies in place because it's getting out of control more so than maybe I'm in the industry, so I feel it more because I'm connected every day, but it just feels like this year more so than any other year that it's happening.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's funny with the NBA. I told people a long time ago, at least anybody who's buying my plays, or if you listen to my podcast, it's not like I won't have an NBA bet, but I'm just done betting on these teams that are tanking because I don't know if you're playing your players in the fourth quarter. I know you're not trying as a coach. Like the other day, what did DeMar DeRozan get benched in the fourth quarter? Mm-hmm. Like you see this stuff and you know what's going on. And I saw the NBA had proposed, 3 different options of how to fix this, of taking your record over the last 2 years, reducing the percentage of the higher percentage of balls in the lottery, whatever, so you'll get less and it'll be more of an even playing field for teams that finish 1 through 10. So there's no reason to tank. I don't know which idea they're going to take, but this has to be switched up.
It's got to change.
They started tanking before the All-Star break.
Ridiculous. Right.
What are you supposed to do with that?
You have the Kings, you have the Jazz, you have the Bulls, you have the Wizards, you have the
Pacers.
That's Memphis.
Yeah. You got a bunch of those teams that suck, man.
Bad. But all right, man. Well, let's get into it. We have a pretty good slate today to talk about. Let's start. There's only 2 games in the NHL. We could start there. And you have anything?
I'm going to be boring again. I got stuff for college hoops. I got stuff for baseball. I might have one play in the NBA, but I didn't even put it up today. I don't like anything in the NHL tonight. There's only 2 games and nothing jumped out at me. I'm not going to force it.
Oh, there we go. Sorry. We had a syndicate play. We actually finally turned the corner. Last couple of weeks have been just breaking even since Olympic break, playing all dogs, hitting about 45%, but with dog value, you're basically breaking even every week. But this week's been really good. Yesterday, we had a chop day, but the day before we went 5-3, but made a total of 5.8 units. So the dog value's there. I'll give you guys a free syndicate release. We have the Blackhawks plus 160 today against the Rangers. So again, I don't have any data and analytics and tell you the reasoning why. It's a system that we followed the entire season, and it's been profitable. I think it's up 45 units now, hitting 44% the last time I checked. So free play for you guys. It's not a freemium, but it's a friendicate. That's the word I'm using, a friendicate. But there you have it. So let's keep it moving. Why don't we could do college basketball last because that's the most exciting. Why don't we go to the NBA?
Okay.
And let's see how many games we have today. So we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Why don't we go 3, 3, 4?
Okay.
So the first, I'll start you off. You could tell me who you like in these 3. We have the Clippers. We have let's see what the first one is here on. We have the Pelicans and the Raptors. I don't think this is in order.
Sorry, we'll just roll.
All right, we'll do Pelicans and Raptors, the Nets and the Lakers, or the Hawks and the Celtics. Anything you like in these first 3?
Yeah, so the one game I did like, and I would lean under, and it is this one with the Celtics and the Hawks. I would lean under, but I also think the Celtics are the right side of it. The Atlanta Hawks have been hot. I get it. We're getting down to that point for the MVP race where people are pushing Wembanyama, SGA, and Jaylen Brown, and there's a couple other names in that mix. But I think the Celtics, as they slowly start to figure it out, it looks like Jason Tatum. I read somebody said he's taking a backseat. This is Jaylen Brown's team. It's not Jaylen Brown's team. It might be this year because of how the season's gone, but I ultimately like what he's been doing. He's been rebounding and finding his spots. I did not make this a play, but I would take the Celtics in this spot.
Yeah, I'm with you as well. I think the Celtics is the right play here. I think you're getting a really good price on them at home against a team that's the hottest team in the, since All-Star break. It's been incredible what Atlanta's been able to do and be relevant even in a couple tough matchups. I feel like recently I did have them, versus Detroit. I had them versus Golden State. So, I mean, they've covered a lot of games. They're 9-1 in their last 10. They're 8-2. I think this is a perfect buy low spot for Boston at home, who has been just as good. I mean, they've been a really good team since All-Star break with Tatum coming back and getting his sea legs. I think you're getting good value. If this is any other time, if Atlanta is on some sort of a losing streak, this would be 7. So I think you're getting good value here at 4.5. What were the other two? Lakers 15.5. It's just, I'm with you, Jeremy. These tankathon teams, we didn't mention the Nets, another one. That's what, 8.
Well, isn't it two-folded here? I saw somebody else say just attack all these teams that are tanking and go. You keep laying double-digit favorites in the NBA, and you're going to wind up losing your money. I'm sorry. Like these prices are inflated because of what teams are doing, and you don't know in the fourth quarter. Let's say the Lakers are up 20. Are they going to bench their guys in the fourth quarter because they don't care? And then here you are in this spot where you can't say the Nets aren't trying. They're just not good. So I just can't do it. I can't do all those double-digit favors.
Well, it's funny because Eric does a system on his pod every day, and yesterday he had the Kings against the Magic catching the 15.5. And everybody was just clowning him. I can't. How'd you take the Magic won by 5? This is what happens. So if you're going to lay double digits, 15, 16 points in the NBA, you better be confident about your spot and situation, because it could easily just be a win by the good team, but not a cover. So you really got to pick your spots. I
mean, I kind of joined PickDawgz last year during the NBA playoffs, and I love the NBA playoffs because I think there are a lot of edges to be had there, and some people especially misread elimination games. And I had a really nice run last year in the postseason. So I'm looking forward to that. I love betting the NBA, but this stuff is just trash, man. Like to me, it's true gambling, and there's nothing wrong with it if you're fine with that. But like, if I'm putting my hard-earned money on something, I want to feel like I have an edge somewhere.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. Well, let's keep it moving. We have the next 3. We have the Mavs and the Blazers. The Blazers are a 10-point home favorite. Then we have OKC laying not just double digits, 20.5 points against the Bulls. And the next one, Hornets are 1.5 point favorite against the Knicks.
Yeah, then they just played last night, right? Didn't the Hornets beat them?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the spot here, I don't love any of these games, just being brutally honest. I think with OKC, I would lay the 19.5 if you force me to pick. Like the total it's a high total, like 230. I saw 238. It had 236.5 up here. So it's somewhere in that range. But seeing how high it is, I think we could be poised for a blowout here. So I would bet OKC, but I'm not. That's where I would lean. I don't have anything for the other games. They're just ugly.
Yeah, I think that graphic was wrong. They're not playing. The Knicks are not playing again today.
Yeah, I didn't see him on the board.
That was a mistake. Sorry, guys. We are human. Yeah, there's no Knicks Hornets because I bet the Hornets again. Had them last night. I'd bet them again. They shut the Knicks down yesterday. It's a couple quarters. They only put up 19 points. I mean,
yeah,
the Hornets are, they're. People have been saying, when is the shoe going to drop? But, man, they have been exceeding expectations. I'm excited about that team. There's a lot of young talent on there, and it's exciting to see if they get to the playoffs what they do.
It's funny because their best player, arguably, is probably the one I worry about the most, in LaMelo. And right. I'm not saying he is their best player, but perceived to be. He's the leader of that team. He's the guy that concerns me the most. I like all the others on that spot. I like what they did in the draft. Knipple looks great. But anyway, I know we're not talking about them.
Yeah. I'm going to take OKC here. Again, I'm not putting any money on it. I don't have any plays on it. None of my groups are on it, but this is the spot that OKC has shown over and over again that they could beat up on teams and then keep the pedal to the metal and keep pressing and not just give up in the fourth quarter. And I think they'll be able to do that to the Bulls. Don't love it. Again, this slate today is just ugly, but for conversation's sake, I'm going to lean OKC. All right, let's keep it moving. We have the Lakers are 10.5-point favorite against the Pacers.
Well, that's not right either.
It's not?
The Lakers are playing the Nets tonight. I'm right in that. Today is March 27th, right?
Yeah, we're just gonna remove this graphic here. I don't know what's going on.
Well, as you guys can see, some things happened and we ended up starting late, and you're seeing us here. So I know getting some of the graphics up and trying to do this quickly when we haven't done it.
Let me let's just do it blindly here. We're gonna do the Utah and Denver. Denver's laying 18.5. We have Golden State laying 14 at home versus Washington. We have Portland laying 10.5 against the Mavericks, and then the Lakers are laying 16.5 against Brooklyn.
Yeah, I don't like any of these, but if you force me to bet, I think I would take Portland in that spot. This is a team. There's a lot of young talent on that Portland team. I just don't know what the Mavs are even trying at this point. This tankathon has been just so freaking bad for this sport. And for anybody that loves it, like I do, it sucks. It sucks watching teams where you don't know if they're going to come out and even try. I'd love to tell you to take the Lakers against the Nets as well. I think it's the right side. I'm not touching it. The Nets unders have been cashing too. Something to look at there, but you're always playing with fire when you get a team that's not trying, and you could get some of those blowouts and crazy games. We had a team score like 130 some this past week in the NBA. So we've seen some crazy numbers.
Yeah, I like the over in the Dallas-Portland game. These teams, when they match up against each other, they just forget to play any sort of defense. Out of their last 10, they're 9-1 to the over. And a lot of trends in the NBA in that sense do match up year after year after year. Dallas, they don't play a lick of defense. They went over the last 4 games. Portland, in the same boat, especially at home. I like the over here. 239.5 is probably priced right where it should be, but I could see this going to 250, 255.
Yep.
Not touching Denver against Utah. Again, these crazy double-digit spreads. I just rather stay away. I think there's a lot of good spots in the MLB. If for you, Jeremy, I'm sure there's a lot of good. I know there's a lot of good spots in college basketball tonight.
Yeah.
Just NBA is just super ugly. So that's it for me. So that is the NBA. Why don't we move it, keep it moving, and we'll go to baseball. Let me see what the slate is. Then we could chop it up.
I'm trying to remember, do we go game by game, or is it like the NBA where you give me a 3 or 4?
I mean, we could go game by game if you want. Make it quick.
That's up to you. I mean, there's not many games today.
Yeah, let's do it. So we have the Yankees. We have Schittler on the mound, on the road against the Giants, and Robbie Ray. Who do you like in this one?
Yeah, and again, I was happy to see Schlittler was pitching today after on the air yesterday. I did say shit. I was making fun of my co-hosts who were back-to-back, and I said they were like Lethal Weapon, Riggs and Murtaugh. And I said, I'm too old for this. And I said shit. And I think it's from being on this mic. I've trained my whole life not to say curse words in front of a mic. And I dropped an S-bomb. Luckily, they dumped it yesterday. But, of course, I get asked about this game, and Schlittler is playing. And it's like, I'm glad I'm not calling a game because that would be rough. I think the Giants are a live dog here. Robbie Ray, there's a lot of strikeouts in this Yankees lineup. And, I mean, I think the under looks interesting as well. The one thing I always tell people about Oracle, if you're looking at the San Francisco Giants, I like their new manager. We'll have to see what type of impact he has in games because I think he's very analytical. But in these types of spots, the Giants stadium, their weather, whenever the wind's blowing out, it better be 20 miles an hour if you're relying on it because that water out there, that's why it was so special what Barry Bonds did. It mitigates some of the power that you're going to have from that wind and the help. I'm not saying it hurts them at all. It's always going to help some, but it doesn't help as much. I think the Giants are the play here. I would take them on the money line.
Yeah, I'm with you as well. I like the Giants as well. I think they're definitely a live dog. The Yankees came out swinging. I don't expect the San Francisco Bats to be that cold at home. I think it's a good bounce back spot for them. I like Robbie Ray. I think they're going to give him. He's going to get about 5-6 innings of solid work. If he can get 5 or 6 and get into that bullpen, I think they have a shot. I'd rather have the home dog in this spot. All right, next game, we have the Indians.
Or the Guardians.
No, I still call them the Indians. Indians with Williams on the mound against one of our Pick Dawgz pitchers here, Jorge Kirby. And the Guardians are a 152 road underdog. Who do you like here, Jeremy?
I don't like this game personally. I don't mind taking the plus 150 with Gavin Williams. I think this kid's eventually going to turn it. He's a power pitcher. He's a power arm. He does give up. Every once in a while, he loses a little bit of control and he'll walk some guys, and you hope he doesn't give up the long ball. But, man, can he get out of jams with his Ks. I love George Kirby as well. These are two of my favorite pitchers going at it. I might look at the under, but I think if you force me to pick, I would take Cleveland plus the 150.
I'm with you as well. Another one. I like the plus 150. We had a theory, completely free. It's a system. We told clients, if you're never going to purchase any information from Jeremy, from myself, from anybody on the site, take every single plus 150 and above underdog in baseball. You will be profitable seasonally. Obviously, yesterday, small sample size, you were actually in the plus. But again, this is how you make money in baseball. You have to find your spots with underdogs, because betting 165s, you're going to get smoked in the long run. You saw that yesterday with the Nationals. They were, what, plus 200?
Yeah, this is one of the reasons not to sit here and talk it up when I joined Pick Dawgz. I mean, you and I talked for a long time about it. The model that you guys have here, because I get so tired of these guys throwing out their records saying that, hey, I'm 8-4 my last 12 games. And you go back and you're like, yeah, but your 4 losses were minus 250. So technically you've lost money even with a winning record. So not all those things are created equal. I don't bet a lot of big favorites in baseball. I don't want to say never, because if you find something you like, you find something you like. But I'm typically on the underdogs, small favorites, and totals. And that's kind of how I've kind of made my way. And I agree with you. Like, I love what Eric does. I think it's so intelligent. It's a vomit play every day. It's a tough button to click, but sometimes it's the way to go.
People don't like it.
Yeah.
It's like we're definitely in the minority of being underdog bettors in baseball, and people just hate it. They hate it. It's like bad teams before the game shouldn't win. That's how everybody's mind is programmed in the sports betting world. As an amateur, you're just programmed to thinking bad teams shouldn't win, and then they just do. And they do at a high rate, especially in baseball. So
I saw somebody said never lay negative odds on run lines. That's something that Mitch would say. Because like my thing when it comes to the run line, which you're not going to see me play a lot, I'm not playing a home team on a minus 1.5 run line when you play for a 1-run win. Like I've seen too many games that come down to 1 run, and somebody was asking me, he's like, well, what would it take for you to do it? And I said, I just don't do it. I'm not saying you can't win that way. There's just so many 1-run games. And I don't think I would, if I was doing the run line, I'm typically going to take the underdog, or I'll find a way to find some value there. Or the exact opposite of what we talked about. If you think it's just a total disparity in talent, bump up that run line. Go minus 2.5 then, if you think it's going to be a blowout.
Yeah, and Mitch did that a lot. He would take the extended run line on certain games, knowing that it was going to be a blowout, and he was getting plus money on these run lines. And again, anytime you're doing plus money in baseball, however way you chop it up, beneficially at the end of the year, you should never care about winning percentage. You should care about what your unit return is. And I think a lot of people don't realize that. They're looking for winning percentage, and in baseball, it doesn't matter. You could be less than 50% and be profitable. It's just, are you attacking it that way? Or are you betting favorites and betting spots in situations? You can make money. I'm not taking anything away from that, but I think it's a lot harder if you're betting favorites in baseball and you're staying away from totals and underdogs.
Absolutely.
Next game up, we have the Angels.
Kikuchi. Christian Javier.
Love Kikuchi. Kikuchi versus Burrows. Houston is a one. Currently, this line is off. Currently, they're a 153 favorite.
Okay. Yeah, another game I stayed away from. Again, I'm not sitting here and tell you to go ahead and bet the dogs. I know what the Angels won yesterday, so conventional wisdom will tell people to jump on Houston today. I need to see Christian Javier pitch before I even touch any of his games. I want to see what he looks like at the beginning of the year. Doesn't mean if I like the other side, I wouldn't take the opposite of it. But if you force me to pick this game, I think I'd take the Angels on the money line. I looked at Yusei Kikuchi. I looked at his strikeout prop. It was 3.5. I like him in that spot. But the algorithm that I use had him right around that number, so I didn't bet it.
Love Kikuchi. That's one of our guys here. Give me the plus money again. That's 3 in a row now. Plus money here with the Angels. I think they have a live shot here to win the game outright. Trout looked good in his yesterday, getting a dinger in his first at bat. So,
yeah. So Neto and Trout graded out really well in the algorithm I use as hitters today. Again, didn't touch them for 1.5 bases or hits, runs, RBIs, but I think they're both good plays.
There we have it. Another consensus. Let's keep it moving. We have Kansas City here on the road. We have Reagans versus Sale.
That's nasty. Well, in this spot too, when I got up this morning and was looking at the weather, this game had the best home run hitting weather. Like when you look at it, home runs would be up in this spot. I can't do it. I can't touch it with Chris Sale and Reagans on the mound because these guys can mow down a lineup with the best of them. I know you could see something like you saw in the Mets-Pirates game yesterday. I fully don't expect that. This Royals team is more of a nickel and dime you than the power. I know Perez and Pasquantino have power. Witt's a good hitter as well, obviously. But I think they're more of stealing some bases and manufacturing runs. I like this Braves team a lot this year, bouncing back. I'm going to take the under here, even though it's good home run hitting weather. I think the under is the right side.
I'm with you as well. I think opening day for both of these teams. You're going to see two good pitchers up on the mound. Sale has finished the year exceptionally well last year. I think he's going to turn that over into this year as well. He mows down a lot of guys. He averages 9 to 10 strikeouts a game. The guy's an absolute animal. I think the bats aren't there early in the season, and I think 7.5 is value here toward the under. So we're on the same. We're aligned today. We're fully aligned today so far.
Is that good or bad?
I think that's good.
Okay.
We have the Athletics against the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays on the mound. We have Kevin Gausman against Severino for the Athletics.
Don't like the game. Again, sitting there, I know a lot of people look at the A's when they're playing in their bandbox. We'll go have some fun with some of those totals as it's just a great stadium to hit in. That's not the situation today. I like Dalton Varsho in this spot. Severino struggles with lefties. I like him for hits, runs, RBIs. I prefer that over 1.5 bases. But if you ask me to pick something from this game, I would take Varsho either over 1.5 bases if your site only allows that, but I prefer hits, runs, RBIs over that.
I have had a theory that has cashed me a lot of tickets.
You betting against the Jays today?
I bet against Calvin Gausman as a favorite every time. It's just blind. It's been a proven method. Rest in peace, Mitch. We made a killing fading Gausman. You have a very live dog here with the Athletics. And again, both opening day for both of these teams. Toronto coming off that really, really good year. There's a lot of pressure on them to perform. I think Severino got a lot of talent, and I think he's going to have a lot of ability to potentially shut down this Toronto offense. I think this game's going to be close, but I'd rather have the plus money in my back pocket. And Athletics on the road, they could do some damage early in the season before we know what these teams are. I think you definitely get good value. And this is not a bet on the Athletics. This is a bet against Kevin Gausman as a favorite.
All right.
Next one up, we have the Dodgers. We have Sheehan on the mound against Nelson. The Dodgers are a 236 home favorite.
I think this is the year where Sheehan takes that step forward like a lot of these young pitchers do. If you watched him in the second half of the season last year, he was really starting to put it together. And I was a little upset I got late to that party. And I also like Ryan Nelson. I'm not telling you this kid's spectacular or anything. I think both of these guys are in spots where I like over their Ks. Emmett Sheehan's over 5.5 Ks. It's plus money. Ryan Nelson over 3.5 Ks. You've got it's minus like I think 130 or something like that. But this game here, I know people are going to look at it and think over because of the lineups. I think this is an underplay all day.
Next one up, we have the Padres, 122 favorite right now at home. King against one of our guys again, Framber.
Yeah, Framber, who did not take the Orioles gig. He went to Detroit, which, again, he got the highest AAV of any pitcher in Major League Baseball. It's ridiculous. And he's got to come out and showcase that. Look, I like the Padres against these lefties. I know when it comes to Framber, he can get those ground balls, and then when he developed the cutter, he can get some Ks as well. I like the Padres in this spot. I think Mike King can mow down that Detroit lineup. And even though I do like the lefty Detroit lineup more than the right-handed lineup because that gets you Kerry Carpenter in there.
Yeah, I'm sticking to my theory. I'm not playing favorites. Give me Detroit, live dog again. Framber, first time pitching for this Detroit team. I think he's going to want to showcase his stuff for getting that super monster contract. So I'll take my chances with Detroit to go up 2-up on this first series with San Diego. Next one up, we have the Pirates against the Mets.
Is that tomorrow?
No, I think this is messed up.
Yeah, I think that's tomorrow.
I think that's it.
Yep.
I don't know why it double dipped for me here. Sorry, guys. I am not your regular host.
Yeah, so by the way, that Mets game tomorrow, that's a good – I just recorded the lowdown, and the weather there says under. So I'm probably going to be on that tomorrow.
There you have it, guys. An overnight release from Jeremy Kahn. Mets over.
Under.
Oh, under. Sorry, Mets under. Under. All right, one more to go here. We have college basketball, and we have the Sweet 16. Really good games tonight. Really excited for these games. So my wife doesn't watch sports often. She's very pregnant. She's on maternity leave. The baby should be here. I think she's getting induced next Thursday if it doesn't come sooner. So
now, have you tried all the other things they tell you to do, like go for walks,
all the other,
hot, spicy food, sex, spicy food during sex, like all those things?
We got a yoga ball. So the other thing is there's a yoga ball, and you have to sit on it. So she's just sitting in the living room. It's hilarious. We're watching March Madness, and she's just wobbling around on this yoga ball.
It's funny. My wife's a labor and delivering. Where's she having the baby? I think
GBMC.
Yeah. So my wife's at Hopkins, and she has a way more important job than I do. It's hilarious thinking she's so grown up, and I'm such a damn child.
So this is. I would love to, let me know some ideas.
Yeah. If you got it, like, again, dude, trust me. The thing I'll say to anyone out there that has kids or you're thinking about having kids, no matter how hard you try, you're going to screw them up one way or another. It does not matter. There's just things that go on in life. Our time was different than theirs. I tried to take the things that my dad did that I didn't like, beating my ass and some of the other stuff and not do that with my kids and kind of give them more. But I also can see that when you struggle a little bit, it hardens you a little. You get tougher and you understand what it is to get through tough times instead of having, dad kind of hand you some cash every once in a while.
So yeah, excited, very excited. This is my last weekend as just her and I and the dog and the cat. But yeah, so she loves March Madness. I had it on last night. She's like into it in that Texas game and the Purdue game. She's like really dialed in. She usually doesn't watch sports with me, so it was exciting.
Does she have a team or she just likes the games?
Well, she played basketball in high school. She's not really like, she'll go to Ravens games with me and she'll cheer, but it's not like she doesn't get excited for Sunday like I do.
Yeah.
In the NFL season. But for whatever reason, because she was home, she was really into it. It was cool. So we'll do the same thing again tonight as we're doing absolutely nothing until this baby comes. First game up, we have the Johnnies, the Patinos against the Dukies. 6.5-point favorite by Duke. Who do you like here, Jeremy?
Yeah, so I have a premium play. I like both sides of this. I like the total. And I did the same thing in the Michigan game, but I'll give you the opposite part of this that I like, because I thought I was going to be all over Duke, and the total jumped out to me in this game even more. But with Duke, you got to look at St. John's. At times they struggle scoring. And I know people have already heard it. Every championship Duke has won, they beat St. John's along the way. It's one of the weirdest things.
Okay,
5 championships, they beat St. John's in that year every single year. So
in the tournament?
Yeah. Yeah, so this is another one of those games where it's not contrast of styles. I think both teams good defensively, both have great coaches, and yes, I do think Shire is a great coach. St. John's knows they have to try to take Boozer away, but I just think they're going to struggle scoring at times, and I think that's the part that people are missing, is how good defensively Duke is, and that they can really mitigate you getting buckets and make you work the shot clock. And then conversely, when you look at St. John's, they turned over their last opponent a ton. Same thing here. Duke got turned over a bunch of times. If Duke falls into that, they could get turned over. I mean, it could be a long night. I think Duke corrects some of those mistakes and they win by double digits.
I don't know. I think I like the Johnnies here. They slow down the pace. They make you play. They make you run your offense. Duke, you've seen. I think this is the game that you're going to start to see that not having Ngumba. Am I saying that right? Ngumba?
You talking about the guard?
No, the center.
For Duke?
For Duke. Yeah, he's been out.
But they also lost their guard before.
And they lost their guard. But
yeah,
the Ngumba, the second, was a freak in the middle. And the only guy they really have, they have other guys that could step in, but not like him. And I think you saw it in the ACC tournament. And the only game that they really shined was against TCU, which is not something to get excited over. They struggled against Siena. They struggled against Virginia. And going back, since the injury, they've just struggled along the way. I think this is going to be a lot closer game than people think. I mean, yeah, can Duke put the pressure on them? Because St. John's struggles to score. So if they get ahead early and they get up double digits, I don't think St. John's has it in them to be able to hang with them, because you saw that with Kansas. They were up heavy on Kansas, and then Kansas got really hot late in the game, and they stormed all the way back, being down double digits. But this St. John team has proven to me that they could hang with them. I think Connecticut's a really good team, and we'll talk about that game here shortly. And they just beat up on them at home. I get it, in the Big East tournament, but still, I think St. John's hangs with them here. I like the 6.5. I actually got it at 7 earlier. So I think they hang with them.
If you like 6.5, I'm not your guy.
6, 7?
No, it's lower than that. No, man. I think it's going to be a great game. And I love hearing everybody's thoughts on this one and the Bama Michigan game, which to me is a bit of a contrast of styles. But I think all 4 games tonight are going to be fun games to watch for one reason or another.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think these 4 are better than the ones yesterday. Well, next one up, we have UConn catching 1.5 points against Michigan State.
Yeah, I mean, this is another one. 2 great coaches, 2 teams that play similarly. One of the hardest words for me to say for some reason. I think the under looks good here, and I like UConn. Look, you're flipping a coin, because these 2 teams, it just matters who forces their will on the other team, because UConn can frustrate the hell out of people. I like their group better than the Michigan State group, but I got to admit, I mean, people were calling Fears dirty. I think he's been playing his ass off, and he's been getting everybody involved. I'm still going to take UConn. I still think this is an under game as well.
Yeah, this one is interesting, because Michigan State, they've had the hotter shooters in the tournament. Fears has been an assist machine. They have the coaching, but I saw an interesting stat that Hurley has only lost 3 games in the tournament ATS. I think he's 18-3. He's 8-0, Sweet 16 or better. And then you go on the other side, you have Izzo, who every other year made it to the Final Four for many, many years. So he's got the experience. Hurley has the experience. Both of these teams are stacked. Both of these teams are really good. I just think UConn right now has everything you need to be a Final Four team, which I had them in the bracket. I think this team could definitely do some damage here. I think this game's going to be close, but I think UConn pulls away late.
I think I had Michigan over UConn in the championship.
What in the
overall in the pool? No, I took Michigan at the beginning, but I knew everybody was going to be taking them. So to me, it's like not get cute, but find another team that I think could make a run. And UConn's that. I mean, when you're not talking about them, that's when they show up the most, man. They've had some crazy runs here, and I don't see a reason why they couldn't. And the cool thing about that bracket is no matter what we say, whoever you think's going to win, the next round game is amazing with either Duke St. John's or UConn, Michigan State facing off. You could have the fourth matchup between UConn and St. John's. You could see, Duke and UConn, two of the more successful teams in the past, 40 years, or even Michigan State get in there. Like, I just think they're all great matchups.
Did you see there is one perfect bracket left in the women's tournament?
There is.
There's a kid. He's 12 years old. He doesn't know anything about women's or men's basketball. And he's picked correctly every single game up to this point.
It's unreal.
At this stage in the game, he is 1 in 1 trillion odds to get this far.
Now, did you look to see who he has moving forward, or no? You just read the story.
It was. I just caught a glimpse of it. It was like I don't know if it was CNN or somebody else, maybe Fox.
Yeah,
that did a segment on him, and he's like 12 years old, knows nothing, and the guy that there was only one other person that's gotten this far, 48 picks, correct in the past, and he said he randomly filled it out, but he was on a bunch of cold medicine.
Yeah.
So maybe that's the trick. You just have to be tipsy.
I saw someone ask the question about where's the money on this matchup. This of the 4 games, the money split on this one more than any. And then you're going to get that with 1.5 spreads more times than not with 2 good teams. So I don't think there's any edge to be had where money's going in. I think there might be slightly a little bit more to UConn, but in the grand scheme of things, I don't think it matters.
I mean, this is a heavily bet game, and you're going to see money moving based on people betting it today. I don't think that has anything to do with sharp, not sharp, public, not public. It's just there's a lot of action. There's 4 games, and they're going to be heavily bet this far in the season, in the tournament with the Sweet 16. So I don't think that has anything to do with it. I think if you just like a spot and you like a situation, you believe the team's going to win, then you bet it.
Yep.
Next one up. We have Michigan, 9.5-point favorites at home. Sorry, not at home, but feels like that.
Yeah.
They have a lot more fans in the stands, a lot of yellow versus Alabama.
I mean, I definitely think Michigan wins the game. I'm going to look at that total and talk about that. You have 2 of the, I think, 5 fastest teams or best scoring teams in the entire country. Alabama's number 1. Alabama, even though they grade out middle of the pack defensively, I don't care what anyone says. They do not play defense. They don't play team defense. There's a lot of Olays out there. They rebound unbelievably well, but they also take more shots than most teams, which leads to more rebounds. I think this is just an absolute mismatch on paper. We'll see. I think Michigan wins, and I like it to go over the total.
I'm taking Michigan here. Look, Alabama has proven if they make their threes, because they shoot so many of them, they shoot them in transition. It's the insane pace of play they don't take, like you would think on a fast break, the good shot is to take it to the rim and have an opportunity at a layup. They take threes.
They drive in and get to the hoop and then throw it out.
Yeah. All the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
That's what Alabama does.
Threes, they're going to cover. But can they sustain that style like they did last game? Because they did lose their second leading scorer to Weed.
Yeah. Well, this is another game too where you're talking about. I could see the situation if you're talking about game theory. Michigan getting a lead. Alabama already shoots a ton of threes that they start shooting even more. And then the caveat is it just matters if they're making them or not, because the more those quick shots. Look, I've coached basketball and played ball my whole life. I always tell people a long jump shot is the first pass on a fast break when you miss it. Because all of your momentum is taking you this way. They're getting the ball and going the other way. If you're missing a ton of threes against this Michigan team, they are going to destroy you. And I wouldn't be shocked. I'm not saying they drop 109 points if this game looks similar to what the Arizona game looked like last night.
Yeah, Arizona was head and shoulders. But again, it was the same scenario in a sense where Arkansas shoots a lot of threes. They have to make their buckets. They rely on their leading scorer to get them there, and they shut him down. And he's not, if he doesn't go for 35, I think that's going to be the same scenario tonight. If they don't make their threes early, I think this could get ugly. I like Michigan here.
One quick thing. I saw Javon was asking, if you asked 100 people, 99 of them like UConn, and the line drops from 130 to 120 by tip-off, does that concern you? For me, it does. I'm looking to go the other way, but I got to say this is backfired because I did an event the night before the Super Bowl here, and it was a fundraiser, and like 25 people came up to me and wanted to get my thoughts on the Super Bowl. All 25 picked Seattle to win and cover. So immediately after hearing that, I bet New England the next day. I jump on New England, put them in parlays, have everything set up. And of course, you saw what happened. We know what happened. It was just one of those ones where the public's not always going to be wrong, but I think more times than not, when I see 65, 60%, 70% going to one team, doesn't mean I'm betting the opposite side, but I'm just not going to be on the side with 70% though.
Listen, I mean, that is exactly right. You know, the public wins, and I don't think that has anything to do with the reasoning why the bet wins or loses. It's the two teams still have to play. If you like a certain team, obviously, like you said, if the price gets better closer to game time, it's bad for you. Mm-hmm. But, you know, you have to live with that, and you still have to win the game. And again, if you're betting them on the money line, which I feel like a lot of people I've seen are today, then the team still has to win. I mean, it's at the end of the day. All right, last game up. We have, that's not right.
Give me the over and Texas to cover. Sorry, getting ahead of myself.
There we go.
There you go.
We have Tennessee getting 4.5 points against Iowa State.
I think I would lean Tennessee plus the points, but my favorite play in this game would be the under. Another one of those teams. Iowa State's a top 5 efficiency defense, and I think people overlook that sometimes because we get some high-scoring games from them. And Tennessee can muck it up with the best of them. I honestly think this might be first one to 70 wins. So give me the under here.
Yeah, I mean, look, we have another SEC team playing Iowa State. We saw last game, Iowa State struggled in the first half against Kentucky and then blew them out of the water in the second half. I think Tennessee's a much better team than Kentucky. And if Iowa State doesn't get their shit together early, I think this is going to be a close game. And I would even sprinkle a little bit on the Tennessee money line. I think they're a very, very live dog. I think the public is going to be all over Iowa State. I think the absence of Jefferson is going to be more of a factor as we get into the Sweet 16. And if even Iowa State squeaks this one out, even a bigger factor in the Elite Eight. So I think Tennessee's a very, very live dog. I mean, I get it. You know, they still have to make their buckets, and Iowa State plays great perimeter defense, and Gillespie's going to have a harder time getting a shot off. But I think Tennessee has a lot of athletes that could hang with Iowa State, and I think it's going to be a close game, and I'd rather have the points in my back pocket.
The other thing to bring up, since we talked about it all year long, Iowa State's still one of the worst teams in college basketball at shooting free throws, and it hasn't come back to bite them. We talked about it in March Madness when you face a good team. If you can't maintain that lead late, your butthole gets tight, and you start to see teams were running down the clock, and then they take a bad shot and miss it, or they turn the ball over because they start panicking because everything's starting to pick up on them. And without Jefferson, I mean, that's your go-to guy in situations like that. I do think Tennessee's live, but I think the under is the best side.
Yeah. So there you have it, guys. We did NHL, NBA, MLB, and college basketball. Jeremy, what do you have for sale on the site?
Yeah, so I put up 2 triple plays today, one in baseball, one in with March Madness and college basketball for the Sweet 16 games tonight. There's a lot that I like. Some of my baseball plays have free props with them. So if you're looking for one of the triple plays, or I believe my code is CON25, and if that doesn't work, try CON30. And if you're a first-time buyer, you can get one of my plays for free. Somebody got it last night, and we hit. So it was nice for that. But, it's been a really good week. As I said, I'm up 1,200. on the site this past week alone, and looking to build on that because college basketball has been really good to me, and now baseball's back. So I'm looking forward to this weekend.
And for me, guys, like Eric talks about, baseball, we only sell as a season package. And then we do allow clients after All-Star break on a prorated price. This is really for high level people that are treating it like a business, usually high net worth individuals, because we don't want you betting less than 100 a unit. So if this is something that you're interested in and you want to inquire about it, you could call me. The number's listed right on the site under Safir Syndicate Group. Reach out to me. I'll give you some options. If you're underfunded and that's not a client that I'm willing to take on, I always refer you to Jeremy, to Jay, to Chris, to any of these guys. Look, Jeremy's up 12 net units on the week. So if you're following his games, you are definitely cashing. With that being said, we are at that part of the show, Jeremy, where we are doing parlays. What do you got for us today?
Yeah, I'm going to give you a same game parlay that I really like, and it all correlates together. Give me the under in the Dodgers game against the Diamondbacks, and give me both pitchers over their strikeouts. Ryan Nelson was at 3.5. I like it a lot at 3.5. I don't know if you'll see, because when you start talking about strikeouts or anything like that, that juice fluctuates a lot of times, and it can get ridiculous going down just a half a strikeout or whatever. So I like Emmett Sheehan over 5.5. You put all those together, it's going to be slightly less than 6-1, but I think they hit.
There you have it, Jeremy's parlay. I'm going to do a all underdog parlay today in the MLB. I'll do Athletics plus 150, Giants plus 120, and Detroit Tigers plus 112. That should pay you a nice, pretty penny. There you have it. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Feel like we were pretty professional today, right?
Yeah, we didn't have enough people. Like we were forced to just do work today, so we didn't even get to joke around at all.
I know. Can't have fun on Fridays anymore. Corporate's really getting up, corporate's really digging into us to be more professional. So we'll try to act more professional tomorrow. Any last words, Jeremy?
No, I'm just glad to be back. I missed a bunch of shows because of work-related stuff. And then each time I thought I was coming back, it's like, oh, I'll see you guys Friday. And then it's like, oh, I've got to do this. And I do a lot of fundraisers. So I think last Friday I was reading to elementary school kids, which was a lot of fun.
That's nice.
Yeah. Right. They teach me how to read the big words, but I know most of them.
Oh, right.
I sound them out. Yeah.
So what do you go to elementary school kids and you're like, all right, we like the over. And
no. It's funny. What usually happens is they all start asking me as soon as someone figures out, hey, have you ever interviewed LeBron? And if I said I haven't, so I say no. Have you ever interviewed Carmelo? Have you ever interviewed? And then they just start going down every athlete as the kids are raising their hands. One of my favorite moments before we run, I went to a school and then they didn't have a class for me to go read to the last time. So they just put me in a kindergarten class, which I didn't understand because it was career day. And I'm talking about being a radio host. These damn kids talked about mashed potatoes for 20 minutes. Like, this kid just brought it up. And then I'm going, what am I even doing here? Like, we're really talking about this right now. So you never know which direction it's going to go in with the kids. But I love doing stuff like that. And as somebody pointed out, I think it was JoJo said, Mo Gabba Day that we have here in Baltimore, the Orioles don't lose on that day. They're undefeated. So it'll be up in June, and we'll have a chance to attack that again.
Man, that was probably one of the, again, knowing you for many years, the whole Mo Gabba experience. If you guys don't know who that is, Google it. It really touches my heart because it's local. But
you can watch Gift of Gabba, Gaba on YouTube. It's 14.5 minutes. You'll see my ugly mug. And it won a bunch of sports Emmys. And to tell you how incredible his story is, he beat out Kobe Bryant when they did a sports story about his death. And the fact that he beat Kobe Bryant, you just got to see it. It's amazing. And that kid was amazing. So I even got his name tattooed on my arm.
Yeah, man. One for the ages, man. Just those people just don't come around often, if not at all. So, well, with that being said, guys, hope everybody has a winning day. Definitely tune into our show. Subscribe to the channel. Smash the like button. Buy Jeremy's picks if you're really trying to win big money.
And Kosty, good luck with the baby, man. You don't have a hair on your ass if you don't ask the doctor to throw another stitch in there for you once it's done. But you'll see as soon as that baby comes out, it's a game changer. Everything changes. Now you're responsible for someone.
Yeah, I know. Very exciting. This
Good luck.
is the last weekend. So, all right, guys, we'll be back here tomorrow an hour early. I think Jay Briggs will be hosting. So remember, it's an hour early tomorrow. So 10 a.m. Eastern. Tune in for Elite 8 action, MLB, NBA, and NHL. With that being said, everybody have a wonderful day.